Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so this is going to be a today's topic reading. It is for the 2nd of February. So 2 of 22. I think that's a pretty awesome set of numbers right there. So let's jump on in and see where this one takes us. As always, you guys can enter to win a free read by writing the word compassion in the comments section. I choose at least one subscriber each week. Okay, we just got 3 cards. We have wisdom, learning, joy, art, and music. We have loss and lack, fear and victimization. And we have duality, many meanings and misunderstandings. So to start out with 3 cards like this that almost carry like polar opposites, or we could say that it carries like one full storyline here. Somebody was very at one point anyway, we have this, the swans that are mating for life. We have this joyful time period. Then we have this tremendous loss. And then as we sit in this cave dealing with this tremendous loss, and she's even holding a skull here. So, I mean, this definitely looks like a huge amount of loss. That we kind of get caught up in our own heads over things. And the more we get caught up in our own heads, the less perspective we have on a situation. And the more we kind of like grind ourselves down into a state of like, well, this is how it is, and we basically like extrapolate all kinds of negative thoughts sometimes. It's when we have many meanings and misunderstandings, I just feel like the sense of losing something that made us so happy can push us into this state of like real confusion over something, especially when we lose something and then we go into the fear and victimization. It's like, why did this happen to me? Or this person did this to me, they did this on purpose. And from there we start to lose our perspective, and perhaps even the very thing that we're convinced someone did to us, we start to then unwittingly project outward onto others. And I say that because of the duality and the misunderstanding. So let's see, what was this big misunderstanding? Let's just see what this is all about. That is the way I would interpret this collection of cards. I'm surprised 3 of them came out, because learning, joy, art, and music was our first card. So we had something wonderful. It was a really good time. And then there was this horrible event that happened. And then that horrible event has left us in a state of, I would say, confusion. Hold on, that's not the deck I'm going to want to use. Let's go with, I think this one and this one. Okay. Tell me first, why do we have this beautiful wisdom, this beautiful art, joy, music, this happy time? Queen of Cups, because we were all in. Somebody was all in. This was love. This is my forever thing. I love what I'm doing. I love this job. I love this person. I love whatever this is. My group of friends. I love this. This feels so good. I'm so excited. I am floating on air. Okay. Tell me a little bit more about this situation, because this may not be a romance. This could be just about anything, anything that made us so happy. That's why I said, joy, art, music, like it's like the birds are singing in every tree. Wow. And the Knight of Coins, we had a plan. This is going to be my everything. I'm on this journey, and this journey is going to take me to this ultimate success. I am all in. I love this. I see long-term potential here. This is going to be the one that I marry. This is going to be the job I retire from. This is going to be the house that I build, that I live in forever and ever. The Alchemist and the 6 of Cups. This is a soulmate energy. I feel a past life connection to this person. We balance each other perfectly. In this deck, this is like the Temperance card. I've never felt so balanced. I've never felt like I found my perfect harmony before. But now I can see all of this opening up in front of me. I can see my heart is totally open. I want this. I want all of this. This is my forever thing. And maybe it was like, I'm going to have all of that. I met the person of my dreams. We're connected so well. Out of that, we're now starting this friendships, with other couples. Out of this, we're going to build a business together. We're going to build a house together. We have all these plans. So we have this amazing, amazing set of energy out of this. Okay. So that's how we began. Now, Of course, we have something that went awry with the loss and the lack card. So tell me about this. We have a Two of Wands. Somebody, and it's in the negative, somebody didn't actually choose to go down this road. All of a sudden, all those promises, all those plans, and somebody, they stood there and, you're like walking hand in hand going, oh, this is going to be so great. Let's go look at this house. Let's go, plan. And somebody all of a sudden just stops walking. They may still be holding hands, but they're not walking forward anymore. And it's like, wait, I thought we were going this way. And all of a sudden somebody is standing there going, I don't know that I can choose this. Why? That is a tremendous, tremendous full stop there. Hold on. So the loss, the lack, the fear, the victimization. Well, anybody would feel that way, right? Because we had all these plans together and then somebody goes full stop. Four of Wands. Oh my gosh. That full stop leads to the Four of Wands. All of a sudden, the idea of that beautiful home, now it's like the image just kind of disintegrates in one's mind. Wait, so we're not going to have that home together. We're not going to do this. This is like we were on the way. It's something about a home. We were building a home together. I don't mean physically building. When I'm talking about like our emotions, we were building a home together. And then instead, full stop. And now we have this 10 of Swords, ton of pain. But what's weird is someone all of a sudden started to experience pain that they had buried. I don't know if this was like the opportunity to have all this happiness triggered somebody to remember that they did this once before with somebody. They thought they were going to be really happy. And then instead it's like, oh my God, this is making me remember all this hurt that I had when I did this with somebody else. And they basically went into like a panic mode and they're like, no, if we get really serious, then all of a sudden there's old hurts that I remember. For some reason, old hurts surfaced for somebody. So we have the Hermit in the negative aspect, and we have the Nine of Cups in the upright. This is very complex. All this beautiful energy, all this love, all this certainty of what we were going to do comes to a full stop. And then it's like the bottom drops out. And the bottom drops out because somebody literally didn't choose to move forward with all these wonderful promises and the things the two of you had been planning, and it crumbles. And it all crumbles because somebody is all of a sudden, the old pain resurfaced for them. But what's weird is that with this Hermit card in the negative, this is somebody who's not been self-reflective at all. This is somebody who I don't know if this is like they all of a sudden went into panic mode thinking that this is all about somebody else's happiness, or that okay, so if somebody stopped moving forward with you because just when things were getting so good, they went into sheer panic mode. What is this Nine of Cups? Because they saw you really happy. The Sun card in the upright, the Six of Swords in the upright. This person thought, oh, it doesn't matter. You'll just move on without me. You're going to be fine. You're always happy. You always have a happier life anyway. I don't know why. Why did somebody suddenly go into panic mode and decide that you were better off without them and that you'd get over them and it wouldn't matter? Because this is very confusing. Loss, lack, fear, victimization. You know what's interesting? Somehow this person decided that they would lose you, and then they like enacted that and went through all the emotions as if it was happening when you were there holding their hand saying, let's do this. And instead they were like, no, I know what's going to happen. You're going to decide you don't want to be with me, and you're going to be just fine without me. Because really you just, you go after your happiness. Maybe they thought you were a happier person than them in general. Maybe they thought they didn't match up. What is this Hermit in the negative aspect? This is somebody who's not soul searching. We got a Two of Cups in the negative. All of a sudden, no, there's no way that you are really my soulmate, my connection. What happened? What happened to make somebody feel that way? I still don't understand. What happened to make somebody feel that way? An old trigger thawed out and somebody felt it. The Strength card in the upright. All of a sudden, just as one person is getting more confident in the relationship, the other one becomes convinced that this isn't going to work. But they're coming at that perspective from a completely like, this is old triggers that they did not even know that they had, that they, as soon as things get good, maybe this person always ditches. I don't know. This is so strange. But this is something where somebody told themselves this is not going to work. This is absolutely, they pulled the rug right out from somebody's feet, though. They stopped choosing this relationship, even though it was so good. Tell me about that 10 of Swords, that pain that we have that was suddenly thawed out and like, for some reason, like just brought to the surface. We have a 3 of Cups. Somebody suddenly remembered, I remember being in a relationship and things were going well and they left me. And they decided, they played out in their head that that's what you're going to do to me. You're going to leave me, just like, that's what the old trigger is that suddenly thawed out. It was, I don't know if there was something that was said that reminded somebody of something, or like flashbacks. It's almost like, I want to say like PTSD, kind of like, all of a sudden I remember that just when things get really good, somebody hurts me. So I'm going to freeze and I'm not going to move forward with you. This is somebody who held their victimization in their own mind, and they want to prevent that. They want to be strong and not go through that again. But the thing is, this is somebody they've not done the work on themselves to understand why they even behave this way. They convince themselves that this relationship isn't real, doesn't matter, and this is them being strong enough to walk away from it. Very conflicting. And they told themselves, you're fine. You're not going to care about me anyway. You're happy without me. Your life is good without me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I've put the brakes on. 8 of Cups and the King of Wands. You'll just go meet somebody else who's better than me. That's what somebody told themselves. You'll leave and you'll meet somebody else who's so much better than me that'll make you happier anyway. Someone didn't want to they were all in. Someone was all in. It was a beautiful romance. You were open-hearted. You had every belief that this is the one. We're going to make this work. And then the other person pulled back, and the person pulled back in this storyline because they decided all of this is going to happen. I remember I went through this before. Somebody jilted me, somebody that I was planning on a life with. They all of a sudden dumped me, and it was so hard for me to get over. I never got over it. And that's what happens. Every time that something starts to get good, we reach a certain point and then it all falls apart. Well, I'll be damned if I'm going to let that happen to me again. So you know what? Bye-bye. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're happy anyway. You're always fine. And you'll just move on and you'll be happy with somebody else. You'll meet somebody else. You're on your way already. I'm sure you're not thinking of me. So this is like, one person deals with all this loss of like, why did this person suddenly do a 180 and flip this on me and basically like walk away from this amazing life that we were going to build? And the other person is sitting there in fear and victimization. I did that to you because someone did that to me once, and I'm sure that that's how it would work out with you too. So I'm sure you can find somebody better than me. So never mind. I don't want this. I'm not going to keep walking down this road of all this happiness that we had planned on. This is an ugly reading. This is a very, very, very ugly reading. I cannot even, I don't like to have to read things like this. Okay. So with the duality, the many meanings and the misunderstandings, we're in it. So we're going to keep going, but this is ugly, ugly, ugly. Because there's so much needed to be dealt with, spoken about. Man, this is a prime example of why victimizing ourselves is so dangerous. Now, obviously, people are real victims in life, and anyone who's ever been a victim, I've been a victim. It takes a really long time to try to heal from stuff like that, and it like, we go through that as humans, right? And there's a lot of healing that has to happen, and there's a lot of stuff that if we don't work on healing it, we will push away other amazing opportunities. Now, that doesn't diminish what we've been through at all. It doesn't say that, oh, get over it. No, no, no. I despise when people act like, it's a victim's fault or something. That's never the case. But in this case, it's an example of when something hurtful happens to us, if we don't try to work on getting beyond it so that we don't feel as if we were still plagued by that, we can wind up missing out on other amazing opportunities. So it's just really just driving in that point that healing properly is so valuable, so important, especially if we've been hurt. Okay, so tell me about the duality here. What's the duality here? Tell me about the duality. Oof. Okay, we got a little handful of cards here. The duality says we have a Page of Wands, we have a Two of Cups in the upright, we have a Knight of Cups, and we have a Six of Swords. Talk about duality. Okay, so, and misunderstandings and many meanings, right? So somebody was absolutely passionate about this. Somebody felt like this was the twin flame soulmate energy. Somebody was wanting to give all of this, and yet they thought the other person wanted out. Did two people both think that the other one wanted out? Did something happen that one person took it as like, oh, you don't want me? The other person took it as, where are you going? You're just dumping me? So this didn't matter to you. Because it's weird to see the Six of Swords twice, both in the upright. We have the Two of Cups, once upright, once in the reverse. We have a lot of love in this. And we have continuously moving away. Well, we need to move away from all of the confusion, that's for sure. Oh my goodness. We've got the Devil, we got the Knight of Swords, we got the Three of Wands. I feel like we, and maybe everybody did this, or maybe just one person primarily did this, but maybe the other person who got hurt, they then went ahead and took off. They took off and they went a whole new direction, said, oh, okay, never mind. You don't want me. I think that one person got it in their head that this won't work. The other person got hurt when they behaved that way, so then they took off. So but we're still chained to this, right? We're also chained to the reactive behavior in this storyline. I don't think you want this, so I'm going to react this way. You now have treated me like you don't want me, so now I'm going to react this way. And we're chained to that kind of, this is the toxic kind of reaction. I take off and I go toward something else. I go toward, I just loathe this reading so much because this was all unnecessary. We have the Tower in the reverse, and we're not making changes, unfortunately. We're not changing the reactive behavior so that we can have communication, so that we can get to the bottom of stuff. We're trying to move on from things instead, but we're not identifying that we've made really epic mistakes here. We have Seven of Swords. We have the Queen of Cups in the reverse. We have the Queen of Wands upright, and we have the Five of Cups. So now we have, if somebody lied and said they don't want to be with the Queen of Cups, so then they got with the Queen of Wands, and guess what? They're sitting there miserable. And the Queen of Wands is a wonderful person, but they're miserable, feeling the loss that they're trying to deny they feel over that Queen of Cups. And remember, we started with the Queen of Cups. We started with somebody who was giving so much love. So like, absolutely, I will give my whole heart to this. And now they have made it so that they're lying that they don't want the Queen of Cups. Maybe the Queen of Cups is lying that they don't want them back, trying to stand up and say, no, it doesn't matter. Everybody's crying in this. Everybody's hurting, especially, and to take a good thing and then to demolish it like this out of pure fear, especially that, unfortunately, this is looking like they really did each other wrong. It's almost like someone here should not have been allowed to have an incredible relationship if they weren't healed enough to maturely handle one yet. I'm still confused about why this trigger happened. I'm really super confused about this. Someone convinced themselves that the other person would be better off alone. They'd be better off alone. But it's all because of some kind of old wound that popped up. What was the old wound? I'm sorry, I have to go back to that because that's the key to all of this. That's what undid this. The old wound, Page of Cups. Was there a fear that somebody was giving to somebody else? That someone was not serious about this? A fear that this was like they were making offers somewhere else, or a fear that there just wasn't seriousness? We have 10 of Pentacles. That, or somebody was just afraid to invest. They're afraid to be happy. They're afraid. This is so strange. So strange, because I still don't really see a really good reason for this to have happened. I just don't. I can see that something triggered somebody, a memory of like, I did this with somebody before and then they hurt me and now I'm just really, really scared. But, and it's not, I don't think it's fair to just assign blame, because it does look like one person's reaction then caused the other person to react, instead of two people like really getting to the bottom of having adult dialogue. Why was there no real communication here? Because that would have, the reason I get frustrated with stories like this is because it's like, if we have that big of confusion, we have to communicate. 8 of Swords. Why didn't we have communication? Because everybody just went ahead and got in their heads and got stuck. Why couldn't there have been conversation? I can see stuck, and I'm sure that it's, the reactions of past woundedness. We have 7 of Wands. We have Justice. Someone wouldn't talk. What do you do when somebody won't work it out? What do you do when somebody is completely defensive? What do you do when somebody is like, nope, you did me wrong. That's not right. So I'm not talking to you. I'm going to be stuck and hunker down in, that wasn't fair of you to say something to me. Maybe it was like, this could have been any small thing. But somebody didn't talk. So then the other person didn't talk. Somebody felt wronged. So then they wronged the other person. Sheer defensiveness, and they stayed completely stuck. And I think both people stayed stuck thinking, why did the other person hurt me like this? Why aren't they coming in to fix it? But again, the origin of all of this is that somebody had some old trigger that thawed out. And when they reacted with that old trigger, instead of, something went horribly wrong here. Instead of communicating and then the other person communicating, we went into, like, we spiraled from 0 to 60 like crazy. Lots of assumptions made. And maybe even somebody did act like, okay, well, I guess you don't want me. Never mind. You're right. I will be good without you. I'll just go a different direction. Not a problem. And so we could have had like, this is a mess. This is a mess because all of this whole situation was extremely, it was handled really poorly. It was handled really unfair, and it continues to have layers and layers of lies in it because everyone is hurting. Everyone is hurting. Tell me about the Queen of Wands. We have a Queen of Cups in the reverse. The Queen of Wands, a Chariot in the reverse. So we have somebody single who can't move on. We have someone who maybe is with someone now that they can't leave, that they don't even want to be with. Queen of Cups in the reverse. High Priestess in the upright. The Queen of Cups in the reverse is still utterly confused by what happened. No idea of what happened. Tell me about the lies here with that 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords. We got the 8 of Cups. Somebody lied to themselves, went single, went solo. I don't know. I think that we're trying to act like we're okay and we're not. Why is the Tower still in the reverse? Why will nobody change anything? Like, that's the big thing. This has to be changed. And I don't know who I think that's one of the problems. We have the Five of Wands in the reverse. We have the Three of Cups, and we have the Eight of Wands. And these all kind of came out all akimbo, and they were, on the ground and just a mess. So we need to communicate. We need to actually sit down and have a conversation. But if someone is not willing to do that, we can't have change. We can't have change unless we could actually have real conversation. Tell me about the Five of Cups. I just can't believe that this is a situation where two people really did want to be together, and it was off to such a great start, and then it got ruined. I do think that whoever, because this is totally unfair, whoever blocked communication, I do think that the burden of the damage that was done is more perhaps on whomever decided that I'm going to block everything, because they knew darn well that that was unfair. This is somebody who reacted. This could have been the same person who got triggered and then they reacted in a really unfair way, or whoever got triggered, the other person reacted in a very unfair way. They didn't try to ask, like, what is going on? Why are you pulling back like this? They didn't try to reassure their partner. They just decided, that wasn't nice of you, so I'm not going to talk to you. It does carry some of that nasty vibe here. So the Four of Wands is over the Five of Cups. So somebody in this, or both people in this, are sitting there crying because they both feel like that was the love of my life. This is a story where nobody wins, and it goes on and on and on and on and on and on, because not only did nobody win, not only did this get totally demolished, nobody's budging to have the communication. Tell me about, okay, because I did kind of say, and I only say this not because I want to take a side, but because if we're going to fix something, how does it get fixed, right? If it's going to be fixed, well, where was the first? And it shouldn't be that. I shouldn't have to trace it back to who did the bigger wrong, but I'm trying to trace it to where's the source of the real issue here. And the real issue is we had blocking instead of communicating, and somebody literally left the other person hanging as like a form of punishment, is what I want to say, because they had their feelings hurt by someone's reaction, but instead of asking the person what's going on, they decided to react and punish. Or someone ghosts anytime they get frustrated by anything. Well, life is full of frustrations, but we can't ghost each other because we're frustrated. That's not a way to handle anything. So let me ask about this part of the storyline, because to me, this looks like there was a problem, there was a worry, there was a fear, and maybe that fear was valid, Maybe it just somebody needed to work through the fear or work through something here, and the other person decided to just punish them. It feels punishing, and I don't like that at all, at all, at all. This is okay. Tell me about that person, whoever. I should probably change decks. Hold on. I've used an awful lot of those. If we're going to have repeat cards, I like them to be able to come out. Okay. Tell me about whoever is associated with the Justice. We have the Knight of Swords in the reverse. This person, they intentionally withheld communication. They intentionally made more delays. They intentionally punished with silence instead of coming forward and checking on their person, maybe instead of opening up when somebody said, I'm scared or I want to talk to you. They wouldn't. This person really, they intentionally, I guess, put a stop to everything there. I don't know why this person did that. We might have a storyline where maybe somebody was scared about this for a reason. Maybe they were like, I see traits in somebody where I don't know that they're going to be, because life is full of problems. And if we don't have good communication skills, and if we can't unite, and if we don't treat each other with respect and compassion as a couple, if this is how somebody behaves anytime there's a problem, this would have been a doomed situation anyway, no matter how much love was there, because we're going to encounter problems in relationships. And if this is how somebody behaves, as if they don't like anything, they just not talking to you, then beep, silent. Nope, definitely going to hunker down, because this was a lot of blocking, and this was a lot of, it was unfair. The reaction was unfair, unfortunately. And for this Knight of Swords to be here in the reverse, and then we have a Three of Pentacles in the reverse, still all I see is that somebody wouldn't communicate, somebody wouldn't, have interaction. Two of Wands, they immediately started acting like, well, then I'll just go somewhere else. Okay, so you have any problem at all with anything? Then guess what? I'm gone. I'll just go find somebody else. And there's the Tower. They ruined this connection. Four of Swords, King of Swords, and they felt really good about it, strangely enough. They decided, well, you kind of hurt my feelings, so I'll just go find somebody else and they'll heal me up, and I'll feel like I won. Not nice. High Priest in the reverse, Seven of Wands. This was somebody who completely decided to go into their ego. The reaction is what I'm talking about. This is actually the Hierophant in any other deck. They intentionally broke away from their higher self and purely blocked. They blocked everything about, it's like if somebody had a fear or a worry, things were going really good, and then there was a fear or a worry that popped up that, oh my gosh, this feels really good, but in the past I got really hurt. Am I rushing into this? Or, they needed reassurance from a partner or something. That, now admittedly, that, the fears that people have can definitely wreck a good situation, but the other person, their reaction to a partner's fears seems to have been, I'm going to reinforce all those fears and make them come true. Your greatest worries are going to become absolutely reality, because I'm going to block you, which is what this person was afraid of. I'm going to do you wrong in the sense that I'm not going to talk to you, in the sense that I'm not putting in any effort. Maybe I won't even tell you that I'm not going to, and I'm going to go look for something else. And on top of that, see, I ruined this for you and for me, and I'm all healed up and I feel super sassy. And you know what? This person doesn't have a clue that they are absolutely operating out of like this looks like malice. This is an ugly storyline. The one thing I have to say is, you know what? Especially if this person wound up with somebody else, they're the ones who are there crying with that Five of Cups. They're the ones that are lying to themselves about the Queen of Cups. I think in this storyline, it looks like we had a really loving individual who really wanted this. And then there was a moment of fear, like, okay, but I opened up once upon a time and it didn't go well. And now I'm scared. And I think that getting scared at all made the other person react in a like a vicious way, is what it seems like, because that triggered their own worries. And the way they behave, if they feel like they're not being chosen, is to punish, unfortunately, is what this looks like. So a really good thing got destroyed. And we could argue and say that the first person shouldn't have had all those fears. Well, we all have fears, right? We all have damage. We could argue and say, well, this person shouldn't have behaved that way, but obviously this person was operating out of malice, but that came from some kind of like insult and fear-based and hurt, because we have fear and victimization, right? We have loss and we have lack. So we have somebody who was actually maybe afraid that they would lose their partner, and then the partner said, oh, really? You're going to act like that? Then guess what? I'll go find somebody else. That's not a nice reaction at all. I have to say, I don't think this was a very nice relationship in this story at all. I don't know if this was like a storyline that is ever supposed to come back together, because this is ugly in every way I slice it. This is ugly. What is the outcome here? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. This is such a yucky reading. Such a yucky reading. I don't know if I'll put this out. This is too harsh. Spirit of Pentacles. In the reverse. We don't have growth here. We don't have stability here. We have the Empress in the upright. We have the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. We have the Nine of Pentacles upright. And we have the Wheel of Fortune in the upright. Well, for all this horrible storyline, you know what? This has served a purpose in a very strange way, because at least one person is getting beyond this. One person is saying, this, maybe it was a low vibrational connection. If something that was going to be this beautiful could then be destroyed so quickly, instead of there being compassion and understanding, the two of them maybe were not a great match after all. Because with the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, we didn't vibe well. We have crystals all over the place, but this is not producing a good vibration. The Empress only deals with things that are going to be healthy and worthy of her. She knows this now. If we didn't bring out the best in each other, maybe what I got out of this is I've picked myself up. I have put myself together. This Empress could have been the one who got scared. This could have been the Queen of Cups who then got scared about even how beautiful something was. And then all their worst nightmares just got realized with the way a partner treated them. And now they're at a place where they don't doubt themselves anymore. They're not going to get scared anymore in the future. They're feeling really powerful and they are moving forward. This Wheel of Fortune is moving this whole situation forward. What's happening for the other person? We don't have stability in this connection from what I can see. I kind of feel like Seven of Cups. The other person still stays stuck in wondering, probably, especially if they wound up with a different person, if they intended to like punish the person that loved them so much that got scared, if they punished that person and then they wound up in a different connection and now they're still lying to themselves about how much they miss the other connection, this person perpetually remains in a state of confusion. Seven of Cups, not really knowing what they want. You know, I gotta say, I'm wondering if it wasn't that was a problem all along. We got Five of Swords, though, that came out in the reverse. This person doesn't want to be defensive anymore, but they don't understand what happened here. I don't know if this person realizes how they contributed to this. I got a Spirit of Wands that came out sideways. These are the same as the Kings here. So I just feel like this person is possibly, the other one is now in a mismatched connection. One person is single, who I think was the Queen of Cups, who may have been the one who got really scared because old triggers popped up for her. But maybe old triggers popped up for her because she saw something that reminded her of, like, if we're with a partner who at any point in time gets that upset, where then they're going to block us out, ice us out, you know, and say, oh, you have any doubt about me? Well, guess what? I'll go out and do the very thing that you were most afraid of, you know, because you'd had it done to you before, some kind of, you know, whatever, mistreatment or something. Oh, you're afraid that I would do that to you? Well, you know what? I'm going to go do that to you, because how dare you accuse me of that? That's what this feels like. I'm so sorry to say that. That sounds so vicious and so ugly, but that's what it looks like. And it seems like that person, they really they had an opportunity. And again, you could say the first person, the Queen of Cups, shouldn't have been victimized or so fearful. But is that the way a partner behaves? Maybe the Queen was worried all along that I'm worried this is how this person will treat me if we have any problems. And if that's the case, and then before we even get this thing really off the ground, bam, they do that, then maybe it's better that these two didn't wind up together. Because what we still see for that other individual, we still see them out here doing their own thing, confused, not really passionate maybe about the new partner that they're with, still lying to themselves and feeling deep regret because they wanted the Queen of Cups. But they did all this sassy stuff intentionally to hurt the Queen of Cups when that was the very thing she was most afraid of. We got Two of Swords in the reverse. This person is just now starting to understand. Ooh, hold on. Too many. I'm not taking anything if they come out like that. I have like a headache right now from this one. And we have justice in the reverse. So in my storylines, this is where we actually make things that are wrong right. So we've had the justice in the upright, and this is the person that I'm pulling cards for right now. They might just now finally be understanding what they did. How they contributed to this, how and why this whole thing fell apart and was so ugly, and the fact that they made that happen. The Sun, the Six of Wands. I don't know. This person's all over the place. This makes no sense to me at all. So they are now understanding. They're now understanding things. First, they're confused. Then they're like, well, I don't want to fight about this. Then they're like, well, I don't know. I don't know if maybe they're deciding here. I don't think I would have wanted this relationship anyway. So you know what? Maybe this all worked out for the best. That could be. And now they're just happy with where they are in life. Hey, the Empress over here seems to be doing fine. And maybe they are also. Maybe they both realize, man, we were bad for each other. We were, oil and vinegar. We didn't ever blend. And we're better off separate. I mean, not all stories are supposed to have the happy ending where we are together. Sometimes the happy story is, wow, we encountered each other. We learned a ton. We hurt each other a ton. We've made really bad mistakes. But at the end of the day, this one wasn't meant to be for us. That's what this is looking like, which I know nobody wants to hear that. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't know if I'm putting this reading out. This is so... I think it's fair that we would have stories like this. Four of Swords in the reverse, High Priestess in the reverse, Nine of Wands in the upright. Look, wounded individuals carrying on, knowing full well there's still a lot of healing to do from this. I think that this was a very... why did this happen? Let me ask one last thing, because I don't understand why this had to happen. What was the purpose of this? And we all have free will, so we made things happen, right? But Four of Staves, Four of Wands, that now granted this one flip-flopped, but this Four of Wands, the way it finally lands, even though I dropped it a second time, is in the reverse. Why did this happen? Because maybe this one wasn't supposed to be. These two people are not meant to be together. They're meant to be with other people. They're meant to change so then they can be with the right people. Maybe that's what this whole heartbreak was. And this was a devastating one. I mean, this was devastating. And yet, if we got somebody coming out as the Empress and the other person's coming out as the Sun, and they're not together, it means everybody came out better. Two of Sacred Circles sideways. There is a perfect match. There is something perfectly balanced, and they both are actually perhaps more balanced in themselves now after reflecting on a lot of things, after this real vicious cycle that they were in. We have a Hermit and we have an Emperor, and the Hermit in the good way, right? This is a Hermit who is like, oh my gosh, I've learned so much. Look, he's hemorrhaging beautiful power here. His star is right there. We have an Emperor that is admittedly sideways, but I think that the Hermit now knows exactly what they want. I think that somebody knows exactly what it is they're looking for now. And that, remember, somebody over here has become the Empress. We now know that we are seeking an Emperor, right? The Empress has to be with an Emperor. I think that this has been a very transformational, very, very destructive. Like, this was a relationship that broke people down to dust. This was ultimately a very prolonged lesson, a very painful lesson. And yet at the end of all of this, maybe it was the only way that we could finally get ready to meet the right partner and be ready for the right partners. Five of Staves, King of Cups in the reverse. There's only one way. There's only one way forward on this, right? This is where we overthink stuff. We're getting some clarity here that we can't try to match up with the wrong partnership. It won't work. We have to be seeking I think that these two were not at the same level of what they thought a relationship should be. And I think that's where this problem began. I think the Queen of Cups was like all in, and her version of what romance was maybe didn't, the other person wasn't behaving the way she wanted them to. Like, okay, I thought we were doing this, where I'm all in. But then if the other person isn't really behaving the same way, because they have a different viewpoint of what a relationship feels like, looks like, how much time you spend together, how much you know, cooperate, how does our life mesh together. She had a different idea than this other person did. So then she gets scared because she goes, oh my gosh, am I going to get in one of those relationships again where I love them so much, but they don't really love me in return? And as she gets scared, the other person decides, oh, you're worried about, you know, that, or you're not sure. Well, then here, let me go ahead and I'll ice you out, and I'll go, you were worried I didn't love you enough? Huh. I'll show you. I'll go find somebody else. I won't even tell you that I'm doing that. I'll just disappear. I'll ghost. I'll do the things I'm going to do. And that was really rotten for somebody to behave that way, because if the two had just talked, if the two had simply talked to each other and said, okay, wait a second, what is your version of a relationship? What is my version of a relationship? Wait a second, you mean we don't see eye to eye? Well, then we could have shaken hands, not broken each other's hearts, not hurt each other, and gone separate ways, because we simply didn't have the same vision for what a relationship looks like, feels like, how much time we spend together, all those things. Instead, we did this really damaging routine. But out of this, we unveiled our worst traits. We unveiled the traits that show us, like, wow, that's the stuff I still needed to heal. And that's really what I'm looking for now, right? Both of them are coming out more balanced, actually. And now that we have the Hermit in the more positive energy, and this Hermit is filled with good vibes and is ready to look for the partnership that they really want, they were looking for it in someone who maybe was not emotionally available, with that King of Cups in the reverse. Maybe that was it all along. It's like the two don't love the same. It doesn't mean that they don't love each other. It's that they don't love in the same way. Their version of a depth of love is so different, it wouldn't have worked. And then certainly when they brought out the worst in each other, the fears, and then the punishment, and then the, you know, all of this mess, at the end of the day, they both eventually say, we weren't meant to be. We're better off not together. And so they're happy, and she's an empress, and she's on her journey to actually call in the emperor. This is I feel like I'm going to have to think about whether or not I put this video out, because I know that this can be super upsetting, and this is only entertainment. I just read a story that I see in the imagery here. And so I don't think entertainment should be like make people cry, you know? And I was like, oh my God, I still have a headache from this one. This was so like, mental flip flops for me to figure out what is this story? What are these reactions and actions about? But it does kind of make sense to me as I see this now. Anyway, you guys, if I do put this out and if you do like it, please do give it a thumbs up. If you have like thoughts on this, share them. You know, I'm not here to tell you how life should be. I'm not here to tell anybody what they're supposed to think or feel. And I'm not here to give direction in life or condemn anyone. I just read the story. So I hope everybody remembers that as you are making comments, because the hate mail is not a whole lot of fun when this is just a free entertainment. But if you don't like it, I hope you clicked off a long time ago. If it is anything that upsets you, please, you know, just let it go, because it is only a story, right? It is not intended to be anything other than that. But you guys, I wish everybody so much healing. I actually love the fact that in this story, we're actually better off single, and we're, well, not together anyway. And it's actually, despite regrets and despite hurt, it kind of looks like this is still a storyline that ends on a good note, because everybody has moved on, maybe in the directions that they needed to go. And that's huge. That's huge. And sometimes that can take a lifetime to get over some kind of woundedness. But in this storyline, we did it in 49 minutes. All right, you guys, take care. Bye.